How you doing out there, folks? Yes, it's me again with another video. And you know the title by now, The Invisible Man versus Merrick, Bank, and the Robot. This is part 20. Yeah, this is the 20th one of these I've done. So I hope everybody's enjoying them. Because if this is the first time you're viewing, I'll make sure, I cover everything. So you don't have to look at all 20. Because all of these videos, I cover the same thing. It's about harassing phone calls. What you can do about it, who you can get to help you, and everything. But recently now I decided to put, one of the songs I wrote in the beginning here. Just to change the pace a little bit, because it's a boring subject, I know that. Okay, so the title of this song is going to be The Same Boat. I wrote this over 40 years ago. Mostly all the songs that I've been putting on now, they go back that far. Now, if you listen to the lyrics, you'll be surprised how it applies today. And it does apply to the harassing phone calls. Because, I put in there, we're all in the same boat. Well, if you're getting the phone calls and I'm getting it, well, we're in the same boat then. And I'm going to try to help you with it. So I think I'm going to try to put the song on now. Let's see how I can do it. I don't know, let me see here. I got the music here. Let's see if I can do it.
Whether on land or sea, or any place you might be, on days when things go wrong, you should cheer yourself up by listening to a song. Time seems to go too fast. Before you know it, today is in the past. There doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day to enjoy both work and play. All of us are in the same boat, even though we may never get afloat. All of us are in the same boat. From north, south, east or west, we have a lot of things on our chest. No matter how great or small, we should give it our all. The future is within your reach if you learn to practice what you preach. If the blind could see, they would probably say the best things in life are free. When it's cold, you grab your coat. When we have to face problems, then you know that we're in the same boat. All of us are in the same boat, even though we may never get afloat. All of us are in the same boat. From north, south, east or west, we have a lot of things on our chest. No matter how great or small, we should give it our all.
Well, let me think. I'll turn that off for now. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a change, That song, the music was done by George Liberace. He's the brother of Liberace, the pianist. And he had a music company, back in the day. And I would send my lyrics to him, and he would do the demos, just like you heard. There's a lot in that song, if you hear about it, It applies now. But when I wrote it, I never thought over 40 years later I would be putting it on social media, I never thought about that at the time. But right now, it kind of applies to this, with these harassing phone calls, because we're all in the same boat. If you're getting them and I'm getting them, you know how it feels. So we are in the same boat. It's an expression, so I decided to write a song about it. And you can see some of the stuff I say, it just applies today just like it did when I first wrote it. So I think, I hope you enjoyed it. I decided to, I wanted to do, well, I have a gimmick with this invisible man. I used it, I started to change it a little bit with, throwing these songs in there. I figured that was the I was on YouTube for all my music and everything before all this, but I've been taking all the time up for this Merrick bank, because they start harassing me, and I just didn't like it, Okay, I think that's enough of that. I'll explain more in the description about the songs. But right now, get back to the harassing phone calls. Let's see how I'm going to start this. I guess I'm going to go back to 2018, when we first had this connection with Merrick Bank. It's a typical day. It's monotonous, we're together over 40 years, and we're just sitting there relaxing. I said, let me go get the mail, do something, Went down, got it, brought it up, and I said, Marie, here's a letter for you. He says, nothing seemed to interest her, so I figured, well, we'll see what it is. I didn't even know. I had no idea what it was. So she opened it, and I was still going through the other mail, and when she opened it, she started looking, watching, her. She says, Frankie, Merrick Bank wants to give me $600 credit. I didn't even know who they are. I never heard of them, but they want to give it to me. I'm going to take it. I said, that sounds good, Marie. And what else? Is there anything else? She said, I don't understand all this writing. And, with these offers, it said something about double the credit line. I said, how do you do that? And let me see it. Because I didn't even know myself about it, that particular offer. I know there's a lot of them. Got to be careful with those offers, though. Okay, so I looked it over. It wasn't too much there. They had it pretty simple, You make 7 on-time payments, and they'll give you another $600. She said, oh, you mean $1,200? Yeah, I said, you got that right, Marie. Oh, she was happy, how do we get it? I'm going to get it. I want it. I said, I know you want it. We shouldn't really be getting any credit because we have enough, and I've been paying the bills for over 8 years. And the credit is a little bit better. That's why you got that. But she said, so what? You can pay it. You can always transfer other cards and pay it with that. I said, well, you know that. Okay. Oh, all right. It's yours. If you want it, fine. But she didn't want to do it over the phone. Really, the best thing is to do it on the computer because she could see everything. She wasn't too much for the computer because Marie thought I paid more attention to this computer than her. But because of this credit card, all of a sudden, she's interested. Oh, let's go. Yeah, let's do it on the computer. So we went over, sat down and all, and I set it all up. I said, Marie, you want to punch it in? She says, well, I don't know what to do. She saw the keyboard. Oh, well, I know how to type. Yeah, she knows how to type. I know that. Because we had a typewriter. She used to type. Okay, so I set it all up. I put the cursor. You know how it's set up. It doesn't automatically go to the next thing. It depends how it's set up, but I know from my experience it doesn't. So, I put your name first, the address. She typed it in. She didn't make no mistakes. I was surprised. See, when 2 people are doing that, it's better. Because you can check for mistakes, She took her time and all, and anxious. Oh, how much more? I said, well, you got to get the phone numbers. That's important. She said, both of them, right? I said, yeah. If we have 2 phone numbers, put it in there. It's better as long as they need to have that, Okay, so then we got down to where it says authorized user, and I set it up again, and she said, oh, that's you, I know that. She put my name in, because we share all the accounts. We each had our own accounts, but she also had some, I didn't, and I had some she didn't. But all the MasterCard Visas, we usually put each other on it, so this was a Visa, so. Went down a little more, she said, what else? She's starting to, get anxious, So let me read all this stuff here they got, this disclosure, whatever it is. It says, you have to give them permission to call you using this auto dollar and emails and texts and all that stuff. I just kind of told her what it was. She said, on both phones. I said, yeah, they'll probably call. They need to service your account. But she said, as long as we're paying, there should be no problem. I said, that's right. As long as we're paying. You want to check it or not? She said, okay. I said, what? She said, what happens if I don't check it? They're not going to, I don't think they're going to issue the credit. Because when you go to submit, it won't go through. Because you left something not checked. You check this, I don't care about that. So what? I said, all right, whatever you want to do, so finished it. She hit submit. Then I waited. I checked the email because it's the same email that I just put the application in on, right? So I come back right away because I had that all set up. We fill all the information and check everything right. So I come back, congratulations, your application has been approved for the double the credit line, and you should receive your cards in 7 to 10 business days. Yeah, I said, see, Marie? See? It's all done. Now I just have to wait. She says, oh, I hate to wait. I said, not that long. I'm going to go over a few things with you. Let's make sure when you're, because I know you're going to call it in over the phone, your orders, right? He said, yeah, I always, I use the phone, of course. Okay. Don't give any personal information. You don't have to. When you're placing an order, you don't have to do that. Just give the card number, expiration date. I think there's a 3-digit code. They may ask for that on the back. You don't need to give that because the credit card company has all that information. It's different with the credit card company. You'd have to identify yourself, but not with these orders, because they got these high-pressure salespeople. You call up there. They want you to sign up for monthly payments and all that. Don't do it. Anything you order, just get the one-time payment. You can always order again. It's a lot easier to do it that way. I said, you understand? Oh, yeah, I understand. So I kept going over this with her every so often. But she wants that card so bad, she'll remember all that because she wants it. I said, Marie, you don't want to mess up, by doing that. Because, we had a $600 credit to start with. And I noticed with that credit, it wasn't $600. It was less. Because they put a membership fee for the whole year, and then they charge for that authorized user card, so it's another $100. And there we go already. Now you're down to $500, But you owe them $6. So you see how it works? It's it's a way that they do it. They're not extending as much credit that way. By doing it that way, they'd probably be the same way when when the other money goes on, but it's a little different because that membership is for the whole year. And they'll start charging you monthly afterward. Okay, so that was all done, and before you know it, the week had passed. And just about a week, too. Didn't take that long. So I know when you do it online, it's going to speed it up a little bit than if we were doing it by mail. Okay, so there it goes. I got the mail, and I knew right away. I could tell by the mailer, to feel the 2 cards. I said, oh, that's good. I couldn't wait because I know Maria's going to make her feel better, Right away, I got the mail, and she was asking me before. I said, it's not time. When I brought it up there, I said, Marie, I showed it to her right away. Look what I got. Oh, Frankie, I know what that is. I said, yeah, you're not getting that much mail. You're almost sure what it is. She opened it up, and there's the 2 cards. They were identical, the account number, everything. Only, if my name wasn't on it, she wouldn't know which card was which. It doesn't say valued, card holder or anything like that. So first of all, I told her she had a design. It was with an eagle and the flag. I showed it on one of the videos. A couple of times I showed the card. I don't have it right here now. I put it on the screen. They're nice cards. I like a lot of the designs. I usually would get the plain one, but she liked the design. She was looking at it and all and said, here, okay, so make sure you sign it. I'll sign mine. She said, can I use it? I said, no, not yet. I got to activate it. She says, activate it. You have to, because if anybody would have got these cards, through the mail, they couldn't use it. No, I said, look, I'll call it up. You don't have to talk to anybody? I said, I doubt it. You punch in the account number, and then they sometimes just say, I don't know if they said it here, your cards are activated based on the phone number that you used. That's the phone number they have. So I used the cell phone. Because I know they have it. Then if I use it, it's going to activate the cards because they know the phone number is good. So then it says on there, all cards associated with this account are now active. I said, okay, Marie, there it is. She right away wanted to order something because she had stuff written down. I said, well, it's okay, but keep it with, we're just getting it now. You don't want to use up to $600, well, so I'll say $600, but it was really less, in the first month, first day. Because I only have some small things. I said, keep the orders down. Remember, we want to go 7 months. Because I can throw money in. I did that every once in a while. I might throw $100 in, just to keep the credit up there so she could use it, and I would transfer other cards, by just paying them, these catalog cards that we had, just pay the minimum payment. So I was using that account for that. So I didn't have to write checks, and I didn't have to, do all that. So it was convenient that way because I had the available credit on there. No, time is going on. I keep doing it. She's ordering, and I'm paying the bills, and so forth and so on. Because this particular offer, it's a no frills. They don't give you cash back. They don't no balance transfer, and they charge a membership. So you see, it's okay, and plus I think the percentage was a little high for the purchases and cash advance fee and all this stuff. So it was all right. It wasn't that bad. So I kept paying. Because I keep track because when I was writing, calling up on the phone, I was paying by phone. I didn't want to be late. So I called it up, and checked, and the money went in. Right at the 7th payment, it went in. So now I told Marie, this is the day it went in, and now you got another $600 plus whatever credit we had left. So I said, it's all right now. You can start ordering, like I said, just like before. Oh, she's happy, and everything about it, because of course, we go to the doctors every month, and she's suffering from this, they call it GAD, general anxiety disorder. And that helped it, Getting this card and all when we did help her in the beginning. But it's not going to, stop the decline of her condition, but it kind of slowed it down a little bit because she was feeling better because of that, because she was getting the things she wanted and she was able to do it on her own, She didn't feel helpless that she can't do these things. I said, yeah, you just have to order, they're going to send it. I'll go downstairs and get it from the package room that we have here. Yeah, she ordered some good things for her. I like what she ordered, a lot of the things. A lot of the things was she ordered I think it was a machine that you just wrap it around your wrist or arm, and you set it. It's electronic, and it's for pain. I asked her, she said, it seems to work. I said, well, that's good. Yeah, it was a device, it wasn't that expensive. She ordered a few other things. I noticed I wasn't caring, If it made her feel better, I was happy because she's happy, and everything was going pretty good. We kept going to our doctors, taking our medicine, and then, and kept using the card. And then she's starting to get a little sicker, I guess the novelty of the cards wore off. She got that, what she wanted and all. And I noticed that. I said, well, Marie, what do you want to do? She says, well, we went to the doctors again, and you tell the doctor, and he gave her some antibiotics. He gave her an inhaler. It seemed to help, but then after a while, she's starting to get worse. So I just had to get her into the hospital. She understood. She said, I can't, I can't get around good and all as it is. She was still, aware of everything, and, I said, just get in, get your test, and you'll come back if everything's all right. She got all the tests and all, and it took a while, because for them to diagnose this stuff, she's got, dementia, Alzheimer's. See, it's different when you go to your family doctor and they tell you one thing, but when you go in the hospital and get all these tests, that they give you, and she was there, she stayed there. The blood work and everything and all, and found that her salt level was low. She's got anemia. She's got, this anxiety disorder. I guess that's when it develops into dementia and Alzheimer's like that. So I saw the doctors when I was there at the hospital, and they told me, they'd call me, if I'm coming down there, they'll talk to me. I said, yeah, I'm coming over. So I talked to them, and they said, well, the only thing we can do for Marie, she needs to go into a nursing home for that long-term care. I said, well, I understand, it's the best. I can't do it at home. They said, you probably could, but it'd be kind of difficult. Because they're 24/7, and she's going to have that care, that she needs. So I picked a nursing home that was nearby, as close as I could get. It was like about a mile. I walked it and walked it back. I didn't pay much attention to that. So she was in there first. She wasn't too, disoriented, but she started to get used to it. I said, see, Marie, look at all the care you're getting, all the attention. But I want to go home. I said, well, all you got to do is eat the food they give you, take the medicine, try to cooperate with these people, and you can improve, And I noticed it took a while in the beginning, but after 4 full months there, her condition was a lot better. She was alert. She was eating good. She wasn't coughing, no congestion, nothing. I said, oh boy, I talked to the social worker. I said, well, we'll see about it and wait a couple of weeks and see that she could get home. Well, then all of a sudden I noticed in the next month, the 5th month, little by little, the coughing and congestion. They said they're giving you the medicine. She said, yeah, the same medicine every day at the same time. And that medicine's supposed to, well, they can't cure Alzheimer's, but it was supposed to keep it from getting worse. So she got all that, and then we got about halfway through the month, I noticed the congestion and coughing. And I tell these people, and they said, the doctors come here and do check her. And the nurse, too. There's a nurse practitioner there. And the medicine, they would change it, but it seems, that they're sticking with the same medicine. But see, she was gradually getting worse, and I noticed that they might check her, and it didn't seem that bad. I told these people about it, but so I went there because I wanted. And towards the end of the month, I went Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, and then she seemed about the same those 3 days. I don't think she knew if I went 3 out of 5 days or I went once a week, but she wanted me to stay. Of course, I stayed as much as I could. I couldn't go every day. So I went close together like that, and the last day there, she was up and all when I got there. I rolled her into the dining room. She ate and everything. I brought something with me, and I ate also, had lunch with her and all. We discussed things, and I said, keep it up and eat everything and try to do what they tell you, and then see if we can get you to come home. I'm trying to encourage her, but I could tell she wasn't too, like hopeful, when you lose hope, even though she was doing okay there. I didn't expect. Went there a few days later. It was a Saturday, and she's in the bed. I went at lunchtime. She's in the bed. I tried to go a little later, and I asked her roommate, and her roommate says she hasn't been eating. Could have been too long because I was just there a few days ago. She said the last day or so, a couple of days, they bring the food and they take it back, but don't they try to feed her? I guess they don't want to take a chance of forcing food down her when she's like in that, that state she was in, that stupor. But they didn't call me. It's a good thing I went that day. So I went to her, and I tried to talk to her. She doesn't answer. They brought the lunch, and the lady helped me crank her up, so she could sit up. She still could move around, but not her. She couldn't even open her eyes. That's how knocked out, whatever it is. She might have had some infection in there. I don't know, So I tried to give her something. It was coleslaw, potato, all soft stuff. She's on the mesh diet where everything is made soft, So everything was pretty soft there. I could give her, a little bit of everything. I tried to put something in her. She did function enough, to swallow it. Did that for a little bit, and then some water to wash it down, but she just keeps like drifting off. I said, well, let me get her comfortable and all. I started to try. Still, I'm trying to get her, maybe I think I get her to wake up, revive her or something, but it just doesn't want to respond. So I start massaging her feet, and all of a sudden she says, stop that, Frankie. So she could talk, I figure she can talk. She's sleeping. She's not in pain. Don't seem to be. And she's not coughing and congested or nothing. So I said, well, let me go home. And I told them people, they said, don't worry, we're checking all these people. I wasn't happy about it when I left, because leaving her like that, in that condition. But I knew she knew I was there anyway. That made me feel better. So I went home. I couldn't rest. I was restless. The phone rings at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I knew right away. I was hoping. I knew right away. Nobody's calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I saw it was on the caller ID, the nursing home. So when I picked it up, I was hoping that they're telling me that she was in the they sent her to the hospital. They said, no. This woman said she came on duty and she was doing her bed check, and she noticed that Marie wasn't responding. So they tried to work on her. They called in the rescue, and they got there and they couldn't do nothing. She passed away. So I was upset about it. I didn't know what to do. I'm by myself now. There's no family or nothing. So I tried to get myself together. Took care of all the arrangements. And then I started figuring out now the bills. because as soon as that happened, you contact Social Security. So I have nothing now. I didn't qualify for anything. I didn't even qualify for the survivor's benefit of $255. Can you imagine that? Because we weren't legally married, and I don't have the marriage license. So that was out. And all the bills. So I was still paying the bills with the little bit of money I was getting, the community spouse allowance. But when that stopped, now I only have the money I get, and it's not enough. So I just pay some bills. I start trying to contact all these credit card companies, different ones. And I sent letters and told them what happened. They didn't even respond to me, Start getting calls, start getting notices, everything. So I said, I don't know, I sent letters, cease and desist letters, but it didn't do no good. Because that's for debt collector. The creditor, they don't have to abide by that. So all that didn't work. It worked a little bit. I didn't know what to do. So I start looking up one of the banks that start calling me the most. I start looking up online. I said, wait a minute. This bank gets a lot of people, calling people like that. And then there was a pop-up there, one of the ads, a consumer advocate attorney, his name popped up. I said, you know what? Let me give him a call, And I told him everything. He said, I'm sorry for your loss, Frank. I'll do the best I can to help you. I'll let you know right now. I don't charge for the services. This consultation is free. And if I do get any money, I don't take a percentage. I said, wow, I feel so good. You made me feel a lot better. He said, don't worry, I can stop it, once you get all the information. But, I had everything. I had the call log and everything, for these banks. So he sent me, the agreement so that I could sign it by email. And I said, give me a little chance to type all this up, all these phone logs. And I sent it to him, with all our information and all. And all of a sudden, all those calls seemed to stop. But I was still paying Merrick Bank. So I still kept trying to pay them because I didn't have to pay the other bills. So I guess I paid them for a few months because there was still some credit. And I figured may as well, I could use it now to pay off some of the bills that I still couldn't get the lawyer to do, not all of them. So I got to a point where I couldn't pay. And I said, I don't know, because everything was quiet. This was a few months now after all. Everything died down. This was last year. I said to myself, I just had a feeling they were going to call. I didn't know exactly. So the first month I got the statement. It shows a late fee. I said, bad enough, the money, it's a late fee. Because this account from Merrick Bank, it's in Marie's name, not mine. She's the card holder. Remember, she put me on as authorized user. They can't go after me for it. Because they can't. They might not know that, by the account, So what happened? The calls start. I remember that deal when I told Marie about that, about those calls. They want to have permission to call you. That's the reason for it. You mean they have permission to harass you? If you okay it? I mean, there's a law that says they're allowed to call you. But it says they're not allowed to harass and annoy you. So if you give them permission, then they can do it? Okay, so the call started. I already had phone logs set up. So I would write things down, from each phone number. I think it started on the landline and then the cell phone. Like 4 or 5 calls a day. I said, no, let it go for a couple of weeks. I want to see the pattern. I want to get all the information ready. So they just didn't want to stop, Altogether, I had gotten, I think it was 19 calls on the cell phone and like 43 on the landline. That's an awful lot. I was saying, what if I only have one number? I guess I would have gotten more on that number. I don't know how they have that all set up. So I said, let me call the lawyer, because it's nice having a lawyer. See, I already had him. And since I had looked him up before, he did do Merrick Bank. It was one of the ones that he goes after, because he knows they do those tactics, unethical tactics that they use. He said, Frank, it's no problem. Give me the information. I already have your information. He still sent me another agreement, just for this Merrick Bank. So, went through it all and get him everything. The call stopped. First the cell phone stopped and then the landline. No problem. I said, oh, thank goodness I got this lawyer. Now, he put litigation in right away, for all the calls they made and trying to contact me about somebody else's account that's not in my name. Because I don't think it matters if she was deceased or not. Because it says in the agreement that they don't care who answered the phone when they make those calls. Okay, so everything was quiet. So like about a month and a half. I couldn't believe it. Very beginning of January. Like January 2nd. On the landline, I see it. The caller ID, Merrick Bank. Oh, no. I knew once they started again. I was really surprised, that they started up again. Because with litigation and all. So I start writing it down again, but I noticed, just the landline now, what happened? Were they trying to retaliate against me because I have litigation in them? To them? About those other calls? So I waited like 2 weeks again. I wanted to see a pattern. The only different pattern was I have 4 calls a day. Sunday, no calls. Before they were calling on Sunday. Yeah, I mention this all the time because it's the stuff to tick me off because I know what they're doing, It's set up like that. It's not like every day they change that. That's already programmed for however period of time, I guess. Once they put your phone number in there. Whatever setting they have for those calls, So that's getting 4 a day. So on Saturday, 4 calls. I said, oh, no. Then Sunday, nothing. I said, well, maybe they decided, lawyer got to them, or because of that litigation, or whatever, they might have decided, to stop or whatever. Nope. Monday, no calls. Then Monday afternoon and evening. See, so they're trying to do that to get, it's a harassment doing that. Plus all the calls they made, the calls in November of 2019 and all the calls in January 2020, leave no messages, and also not one person ever called a live person. No, nothing on all them calls. Over 60 calls in November 2018 and over 80 calls in January of 2020. So I told the lawyer, about the calls again, and I sent him the phone log I had up to that point. And he answered me back and said, look, I'll reach out to them. I guess he didn't seem too shocked about it, I guess he's used to it, dealing with them. That's another tactic, unethical. So it didn't stop after a week. I said, what happened? Then I contacted him again. He said, don't worry, we'll make him stop. But I found out, he told me that he contacts them every 2 weeks. So I guess when I first told him he was reaching out, but he waited because it was probably when he got to the second week, because then everything stopped then. Again. Now I was looking at the cardholder agreement, about attorneys and all this stuff, because they have all that in there about making those calls and all. I did it in one of the videos. I read the cardholder agreement, on camera and all, and I went through and I explained it, Now they got this 45-day rule that if you have an attorney and he doesn't contact them at that time period, or they can't reach him, then it doesn't count. As far as they're concerned, you don't have an attorney. So they're going to do whatever they want. So I figured it out, I said, wait a minute. It was at the 18th of November, and there's 30 days in November, so that's 12 days, right? In December, there's 31 days, right? So 31 and 12 is 43, and then the 1st of January 2020, that would be 44, and the 2nd of January would be 45, and there it is. There's the 45 days. And they started up again because there was no payments made from that point either. Now maybe if I would have paid it, back on time again, I guess I probably wouldn't have got those calls. You never know though with these companies, Now you see all that with this Merrick Bank. Now this litigation is pending, so it's up to the lawyer's discretion. Whatever he says, I'm only giving the information, and he has all the information. Now, he's got that case pending, and I don't know whether he's going to use the calls in January like leverage and let them know, look, we're going to have another case there with those calls. You shouldn't have been calling him. I contacted you. And with litigation pending, they got this 45-day rule on that account that Marie got. Who knows about that, I wouldn't. I read the fine print. I couldn't even see the fine print of that, because that card holder agreement came when we got the credit cards. It was like 6 pages, both sides, and it had like 4 columns on each page. So you know how small the print must be to do that. And I went and I rewrote it so I could read it, you know, and then I went over it. All about allowing them to make the calls and all kind of, and about this 45-day rule and the attorney and all that. It's in one of the videos. So if you go back and look up all these videos about the Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the robot, you'll find it. It's on Twitter. So now back to all this again. Now all these harassing phone calls. Now if you're getting them, well, and I already got them, if you're getting them too, what does that mean? We're in the same boat. Remember the song I started with? Well, that's has some meaning here, you know. That since we're in the same boat, I'm trying to help you. Because I was fortunate to find this attorney. Oh, he's so good. I couldn't have got a better attorney nowhere. I don't think so. And I'm not even. He's not even charging me. That's the reason why I endorse him so much. I don't know how I could ever pay him back, you know. And he's still working on a case for me now. I appreciate it so much. You know, so that's why I do these testimonials. And that's the reason why I don't get paid. I wouldn't want to get paid. I got paid enough already. He's helped me a lot. So I want to, in return, that's why I'm doing this, for appreciation. So if you need an attorney, there's plenty of them, but I know that this attorney is really good. Now this is how it works. He's a consumer advocate attorney. And he doesn't charge his services. It's a free consultation. And he doesn't get any money if he gets you money. He got me money already. Not a big amount, but he got me something. And he doesn't charge a percentage either. So you really, you don't have nothing to lose. Just give him a call, you know. I'm going to give you the number now and his name. His name is Paul Mankin. That's Mankin. That's a toll-free number, 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. So now, he's in San Diego, California, and I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That has nothing to do with that. The laws here have to apply in all the states, you know, for this type of, you know, with these harassing phone calls. So he's already worked on a lot of cases for me, so it really didn't seem to matter. Remember, it's done by mail and email, so shouldn't be no problem with it. I'd have no problem with that. Being that distance didn't make any difference. Because, you know, if he was like near where I live, I'd be going to him in person. You know, but I can't, you know, even though I never met him, I know that he's a good man, you know. He's good to have on your side. So now, if you're having any problem with harassing phone calls, it's either by Merrick Bank or any bank or debt collectors or anything like that, I would give him a call, because it's a free consultation. I would hope they would take the case. At least that way, it would take a burden off of you, you know, because you have a lawyer, you know, to work on it. So that's why I mentioned that here, and that's why when I'm doing these videos, I want to keep doing that. So this information is out there, you know. He already had been on, you know, he's on the internet. He's been on there for a while. So I figured I'll give him a recommendation here, you know, now while I'm doing these videos. Now remember, if you're getting these calls, you need a phone log. It's very important, you know. If you don't have one, try to go back, look at your caller ID, try to make one up. I mean, get the times. It's the most important thing. Everything is. The day, the date, the time, the number they use to call you on, and any comments if you talk to anybody. See, what the calls I was getting, they're using 6 different numbers, but they all go to the call center. So they're following the law there, because they're supposed to put the name of their company on the caller ID, and they're supposed to put the number of their company, and they do that. But they can't do it on the cell phone. See, that's what the problem is. I think that's why there's 2 different laws that apply there, you know, with that cell phone. Because you know what happens. Number comes up, and if you don't have it in your contacts, It's just going to be the number. It might say the state. Like if they use 267, Pennsylvania will come up. But in this case, I think an 800 number, nothing comes up but the number. That's the reason why they have to get your permission to do that, huh? Use that auto dialer, huh? So it's not a problem. Like in this case, I knew what the numbers were. I don't say if it's Merrick Bank, the banks might call you with a different number every time they call you, you know. In this case, they weren't doing that. They call me on Monday. They use four times. They use the same number. Call me Tuesday. They use another number 4 times. So every time they call, until they got back to the same number again. So it was 6 different numbers. So I have it in the cell phone. So now when the number came up, says Merrick Bank, I know who it is. It doesn't matter if I answer or not. They don't leave a message. And when you pick it up, you can't talk to nobody. So what kind of, that's harassment in itself. By not being able to talk to them. They want to keep calling because they know if they talk to you or make contact, they're going to have to stop the calls for at least 7 days. I guess they don't want to do that. They don't want to stop that harassment. That's like a psychological warfare. They're working on that, Trying to beat you down, I guess. Can't pay, you can't pay. What are you supposed to do? Go out and get a loan from your family or something? Say, I need $500. I have to pay this bank because they keep harassing me. Sure, they'll stop then. Well, that's the reason why you don't have to do all that. And get this lawyer, I'm telling you, he's good. And hope that he takes your case. It doesn't, like I said, it can be any form of collection, anything like that. But remember now, if he stops the calls, or gets them off your back or whatever, you still owe the money. It's not forgiven. I mean, you probably know that, but you never know. You might not realize that. You might think that he had a deal. Now, say he gets a settlement. Part of the settlement can be that they mark it paid, and so you really don't owe that then. I don't know how that works exactly if you mark it paid. You don't owe them any money, so it may go in your credit report as paid. So I don't think anybody could collect it then, try to collect it. So it's good to know all that. So, I say the same things, but if you haven't listened to my other videos, well, you wouldn't know what I'm saying. Okay, so back to the statute of limitations. In Pennsylvania, I know it's 4 years because I checked. That means all those accounts I couldn't pay in my name, a few months ago, well, less than 4 years from now, they're legally forgiven. That means I don't owe it, and nobody can collect it. So keep all that in mind. So when you get a chance, you can just look up online. You can say, New York, what's the statute of limitations, right? That's all you have to do. And you'll find out right away, and then you'll know. I know some states it's different. But you need to know that. So as far as like debt collectors, you got to be careful. Because they do get the debts that are past the statute of limitations. They're uncollectible. They're written off. And in this case with Marie, that debt's uncollectible. She passed away, and she doesn't owe that debt anymore. So it's another thing. And they're trying to collect it from me. Because I don't know if they know she passed away, at the time when they start making the calls. It's her account, when they were calling. So, but again, that account cannot be collected. It's called, all these debts like that are called zombie debts. I mention it a lot of times. You probably heard about it. It's a zombie debt. Because if something's uncollectible, it's written off, the statute of limitations is run out and all that, they're breathing life back into it, so it's called a zombie debt. And these debt collectors don't care. They make a lot of money like that. They buy bundles of debts and all for pennies on the dollar. I call them scavenger debt collectors. They'll get any kind of debt they can find to try to collect it, Remember, you don't owe money to these debt collectors, no matter what, because you didn't get the money from them. So if there's any time that you want to pay, try to pay. If it's not too much on a debt and it's going to be a while before the statute of limitations run out, you might try to contact the original creditor and say, look, I want to work it out. I want to pay you. I don't want to pay that debt collector. So these are all the things, all this stuff. Like what Merrick Bank does and all these banks, you know what it is. It's keeping everybody busy. It's keeping all these lawyers busy, keeping the debt collectors busy. So that's, by doing all this. I don't think if they would have just had somebody call me, like say you're a month late, they stick the late fee on, they should have a live agent call to try to find out the reason behind it. So maybe in my case they could have resolved it in a sense, because they know they can't collect it. They would have asked for the death certificate and I would have furnished it, and they can't come after me for it, and there's no family, no estate or nothing. So they would have had to write it off. That's it. Then what does that mean? Then there wouldn't have been no calls. I wouldn't have got called in November of 2019, and I wouldn't have got called again in January 20. I wouldn't have had to get the lawyer. They wouldn't have litigation against them. See how that all could be avoided? But they don't do it that way, huh? I know some banks do. We had a lot of different accounts, like 20 accounts. And they did call me, and I answered it. They left a message and all, with a live person, too, not a recording. I called back, and I talked to these people, and they said, I'm sorry for your loss. They know what happened, I'm in enough problems. And in one bank, the woman told me, look, Marie's account, we'll take care of that. You don't have to worry about that. Your account, well, we'll give you, say like 3 months. If you can, do anything in 3 months, we'll, contact us and we'll see if we can, adjust everything, take off the late fees, and, maybe you could start paying. But if we don't hear from you, we're going to send it to collection. So that was the end of that. I didn't hear no more. I didn't get any more bills or nothing after that. I think mine, I still was getting a bill, though. But see how that's different now? That's a bigger company, a more well-known company than Merrick Bank. They should try to follow that, Follow the suit of that, to do that. To cut down those calls. They've had lawsuits, Merrick Bank. They've had a class action lawsuit for all the add-on charges, I was involved, not with them, but another one, a few years ago, because I was a card member at the time when they were doing that. I got something out of it. Yeah, $7. But when there's so many people on it, you're not going to get much. So it's better, like in this case, get your own attorney and you deal with them for whatever, whatever violations that they did, or the harassing phone calls, or calling you on the cell phone without permission and all. See, that permission thing, I think they're getting away with it. Because it does say they're not supposed to, but it does say if they get permission, so they're going to get permission. Oh, well, I give you permission to call this attorney, okay? His name is Paul Mankin, Mankin. That's a toll-free number, 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. Well, give them a call, Like I said, you have nothing to lose. And I think I covered everything here for now. You can check all my other videos, because I have a lot of them. This is the 20th video with this Invisible Man gimmick, Now I added that song in the beginning, because I wanted to break up the monotony of so many, so many videos. Well, like I said, in the description I'll have more information, even though you probably say, how much more information can I give? Well, there's other things I'll go over in the description, maybe about the songs and all. And I'll also give you the attorney's, complete address and everything. And I think that's about it for now. There's other things, but I don't think I'm going to go much further here, with this. Because I know I'll probably do other ones, I know I'm going to probably do. If anything happens with this case, with Merrick Bank, I'll let you know. I'll do another video, because I know I just contacted the attorney. He's got other attorneys in the office, but in my case, he's handling mine. Paul Mankin is doing mine, himself. But I guess he's dealt with this bank and with all these unethical tactics they're using. Especially calling me again after they had already stopped for a month and a half. And I know he doesn't like all that, because it's putting him on the spot. What do you mean? They're saying he didn't contact them in 45 days? And he's contacting them every 2 weeks, so it's all this that he'll take care of that. We're going to resolve it one way or another. I'd rather have a jury trial, but I don't think they want that. You know how juries go. he might throw the book at them, because a lot of these jurors, they're going to say, look, they'll put themselves in my place, and I'm up there testifying, you know, and my age and everything, and to be treated like that, it's disrespecting, you know, especially after the litigation went in, you know, and then 45 days later, they start calling again like that, and the way they call, over 80 calls in 1 month. It did stop again. I was looking at the calendar. I'm going to say on April 12th, it'll be 45 more days. Will it start it up again? This is where the unethical tactics come in, you know. They need to be held responsible for this. I think, you know, they could be held responsible. They'll still do the same thing again. So it helps, though. The more and more people that can come forward, the better it is. Because I think they're under the thinking that we're all stupid or something. We don't know the law, and they can just do whatever they want. They got this power because they gave you that money. If you can't pay, you can't pay. So I think the best thing to do, get the attorney. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it for now. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, you enjoyed the song, and you can look up all the other videos. You can look up harassing phone calls. You're going to see mine will be mixed in with all the other ones. You easily can tell mine. Or you could just punch in my name, Frank Leeper, and all my videos are going to come up, all the different ones I've been doing before this. So if you're interested, you could do it if you have a chance. I hope everything works out for you, and have a great day.